Okay, so now after doing the exercise 7a, we will now move to the next step. So as we can see here, there is an optimum table, which is the result from doing some iteration at the first table. How can we know if the table is optimum or not? We can know by seeing the row C. Row C is the relative function value. So if the relative function value is already 0 or less than 0, like this or this, then we can make sure that this is the optimum table. And then the optimum solution is uh, 2 for x1 and then 1 for x2. And the optimum value of z is equal 10. We can get this optimum value of z by putting the x1 and x2 into the z function. So now the next thing to do is we need to make the function into the standard shape like this. And then the next step is we need to put the variable slack into the side of the constanta. For example, in the function 1 there is x1 plus x3 equals 2. Then we need to make the x3, we need to put the x3 into the side of 2. So we will get the equation of x1 equals 2 minus x3 like this. And then we need to do that in all function. So x1 plus x2 equals 3 minus x4, and then the last is x2 equal 2 minus x5. So we can see that if the value of slack variable going up, then the value of resource limit will going down. What does it mean? So if you put the x3 value is 0, then the x1 value will be 2. But if the x3 value is going up, like if you put the x3 value is 1 and then the x1 value as the natural resource limit will going down by 1. And then if you put the x3 of 2, and then the x1 will be going down to 0. So the shadow price value from the first constraint will related to the value of variable slack of x3. And then the second constraint will related to the value of variable slack x4. And shadow price value of the third constraint will related to the value of variable slack of x5. This is the same like what I said before. Constraint of function 1 is related to x3, and function 2 to x4, and function 3 to x5. Okay, so now we will search for the shadow price in this optimum table. And then, as I said before, the first constraint is related to the x3. So if the x3 going up, and then z will be going down. So for example, if the x3 is going up as 1, and then the z will going down as much as 2, as minus 2. And then, but with the contrary, if the constanta is going up as 1, the x3 will going down as 1, but the z will increase as 2. So for the example, if the constanta of x1 is going up from 2 into 3, then the z will going up from 10 into 12. But at the contrary, if x3 is going up, then the z value will going down from 10 into 8. That means that the shadow price of the first constraint is 2. Then as we can see, constraint of function 1 is related to x3, constraint of function 2 is related to x4, and constraint of function 3 is related to x5. Then the shadow price value for constraint 1 is 2, and for constraint 2 is 2, and then for constraint 3 is 0. So if the constant of constraint 2 is going up as 1, and then the z will also going up as 2, that which mean the shadow price of function 2 is 2. If we want to raise the z value, then we can, every time constraint 1 is increased by 1, it will increasing the z value as much as 2. And every time constraint 2 increase by 1, it will increasing z value as much as 2. But every time constraint 3 is increased by 1, it will not increasing z value. So there is no point to increase or decrease the value of constraint 3. So now we will do the exercise 7b, which is maximize case from the optimum table from the exercise 7a. And then this case is a maximized case. So for minimize problem is similar, but you need to play your logic in it.